Your reality is being deleted. Your world feels fake. Your voice sounds borrowed. Your room looks staged. It's not random. Your feed is training your nervous system into depersonalization and derealization. Here's the secret. Your brain isn't broken. It's running a safety script that overshot. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact loop that manufactures unreality and how to break it. The 3 psychological locks that keep you stuck, and a 4-step reset you can run in 90 seconds anywhere. One habit you swear is helping? It's making it worse. I'll show you how to shut it off fast. The glitch, why you feel unreal, origins of digital DPDR. Get this. Most people will feel a brief split from themselves or the world at some point. You're not broken for noticing it. But when that glass wall keeps showing up, the brain's running a safety script that overshot its target. Start with the sensation. The hollow world. The sense you're watching yourself speak from half a step back. Your hands move fine, but ownership is fuzzy. The room looks normal, yet it reads like a set. Mirrors reflect correctly, but the face doesn't feel like yours. It's eerie, and it's functional. Not helpful, but functional. To understand why, we need the brain's short version. In dissociation, imaging reviews, e.g., the Cortico-Limbic disconnection model, repeatedly show a lopsided state. Prefrontal systems clamp down while limbic circuits, the ones that give experience emotional weight, go quiet. Think circuit breaker. Too much load hits the line, so the system trips to keep the lights from blowing. You still see the movie, but the soundtrack's muted. Across dissociative profiles, more executive control, less emotional resonance, weaker binding between the body's signals and the map that says this is me, here, now. It isn't proof of damage. It's a crude protection device. What does that protection buy you? Fewer overwhelming spikes. What does it cost you? Texture. Without the limbic coloring, life looks accurate and somehow unreal. You can still reason, sometimes more sharply, but the feeling channels turn down. People say, I know this is a cup, but it doesn't feel like my cup. That mismatch between knowing and feeling is the signature. Now layer digital life on top. Our nervous systems expect sensory input to rise and fall at human speeds. Feeds don't play by those rules. They deliver fast, layered stimuli, cuts, captions, moral heat, novelty, then ask you to fail to look away. After an hour of slick, high-contrast input, the ordinary street reads like a downgrade. Your brain re-enters baseline with nothing like the cadence it just practiced. Presence thins. For some, it snaps back. For others, especially when sleep is short or stress is stacked, the unreality lingers. VR exaggerates it. Headsets sell convincing presence by hijacking multiple channels at once. Vision, motion, sound, prediction. Take the headset off, and the real room can feel flatter, as if your depth of field got lost at the door. Most people reset quickly. If you're already sensitive, that dip can stretch into your morning commute. Here's the more uncomfortable loop. Platforms don't just show you content. They measure your nervous system by proxy. How long you hovered, where you paused, what got a replay. If anger or all glued your eyes, the system learns. It feeds back similar patterns because they keep you there. That cadence trains your body toward high arousal and cognitive ease. The same 2 ingredients identified in processing fluency research that keep nuance out and the this feels true sensation in. Over time, complex, slow, quiet reality feels less real than fast, fluent claims. The more the loop runs late at night, the more it teaches the most hookable version of you. Does this mean everyone ends up in DPDR? No, it means digital life is an amplifier. If you tilt toward dissociation under load, the environment gives you more load vectors. Late scrolling after stress, stacked notifications, binge edits, or cannabis layered on sleep debt. None of those on their own define your identity. Together, they push the system past its threshold. This is why small episodes matter. When the brain picks disconnect instead of panic, it's choosing function over richness. Let that become the default, and your identity's felt sense, voice, agency, memory texture, gets thinner at the edges. Relationships feel more like scripts. Work turns efficient and weirdly far away. You start auditing your consciousness instead of living in it. The good news is the same mechanism that clamps can release. The brain looks for safety evidence. Strong sensory anchors, cold water, feet pressed into the floor, paced breath, steady naming of objects, feed the muted channels. They say, we're here. It's now. Nothing's chasing us. Repeated evidence gives the system permission to lift control. That's why grounding is more than a trick. It's a mechanical nudge. One more reframe to steady you. This isn't psychosis. You're not losing touch with what's real. You're losing contact with the feeling of it. The facts are intact. The bridge back is built from small, repeatable cues plus simple environmental changes that reduce the mismatch. Emerging reports of AI-mediated reality distortion, after prolonged chatbot/immersive use, fit this same pattern. Facts intact, felt presence thinned. Another amplifier, not a different disorder. Before we move on, put a pin in the daily pattern that pushes the pedal down. You reach for relief after midnight, telling yourself you're calming down. But the feed is a rehearsal studio for your nervous system. Every swipe is a rep. That's the habit you think helps, and it's tightening the clamp. We'll break it soon. First, 3 microcases, so you can spot the convergence in your own week. Microcase mosaic, 3 days, 3 triggers. Day 1 starts harmless. You're tired, a little wired, scrolling in bed to quiet your head. One thread leads to another. The clock slides past midnight. When the alarm finally drags you up, the world feels gauzy. Light looks flatter. Your voice on the morning call sounds like a recording. You hit targets, answer emails, but every handshake with reality lacks grip. By lunch, you're wondering if coffee can sharpen what feels dulled from the inside. Unknown to you, the feed logged last night like a training session. It learned your pauses, your micro-replays, the phrases that sped your heart. By noon, your for you feels more compelling and less trustable at the same time. You don't notice the calibration. You just feel thin. Day 2 is different. A friend brings over a VR headset. 10 minutes becomes 40. It's fun, convincing, sticky. The headset comes off, and your apartment looks like a set that forgot its lighting budget. Walls are straight, edges crisp, but depth feels missing. You open the fridge, and the labels stare back a little too boldly, like props. You shake it off, take a walk, but the set-like vibe follows you down the block. It fades, then surges when the street quiets. That night, your sleep is light and shallow. Day 3 stacks the deck. You've got a deadline, little rest, and someone suggests a quick hit to take the edge off. Cannabis pairs with a marathon feed while files render. You laugh, save, swipe, repeat. Then you speak aloud, and your voice arrives a half-beat late, like it belongs to someone next to you. Your hands type fine, but the sense of owning them slips. For an hour, yourself feels mechanical. You stand up, press your feet into the floor, run cold water over your wrists. Name 5 sounds in the room. The edges soften. Across these days, there's no catastrophe, just convergence. Late-night arousal plus repetition. Immersion mismatch from VR. A substance laid on sleep debt. Anyone could pass as a blip. Together, they nudge the system past your threshold. That's the pattern most people miss. It's not a monster event. It's a stack. Spot the stack early, and you cut the spiral short. Miss it, and the loop feels random when it isn't. Now hold that mosaic. Because while you're living these micro-shifts, something else is happening in the background. The machinery that takes your reactions and manufactures a reality melody you can't quite stop humming. The hijack, how feeds manufacture unreality. Here's the quiet truth. Your feed isn't a timeline. It's a mirror that remembers. Every hesitation, hover, rewind, and save is a label. The system doesn't care why you stayed. It cares that you stayed. So your attention becomes training data, your tomorrow becomes prediction, and your next click becomes the target the system is paid to hit. That's the closed loop. You train it. It trains you back. Pause on a frame with moral heat, and that pattern earns a boost. The model doesn't know if it's accurate. It knows your nervous system reacted. Multiply that across millions of micro-reactions, and it can forecast what version of you is most hookable, and at what hour. Under the hood, 3 engines run the factory floor. First is the Fluency engine. Repetition builds ease. Ease gets misread as truth. The system doesn't repeat posts, it repeats patterns. Familiar headlines, mirrored phrasing, adjacent accounts quoting each other. You experience echoes as consensus. This is the illusory truth effect. Circular reporting multiplies exposure without adding evidence, and the brain quietly says, I keep seeing this, it must be solid. Over time, smooth cadence becomes your truth cue. Accurate or not, the fluent frame slides in with less friction than the careful one. That's how complex, slow reality starts to feel less convincing than crisp, fast claims. Second is the arousal engine. Anger, awe, and tribal pride compress decision time and extend watch time. The body moves before the analysis arrives. Platforms learn your arousal signature by proxy. Rapid replays, sudden comment bursts, rewinds on a single sentence. They don't need your pulse. Your behavior is enough. If a certain moral note kept you longer, more of that note returns, maybe with a new target. You think you're tracking issues. In practice, you're tracking your own physiological hooks, classic high arousal effects that narrow attention and lock memory. Third is the identity engine. In-group signals, slogans, emojis, color palettes, insider jokes, drop your guard. A claim wearing your tribe's clothes gets a courtesy pass. The same claim in an opponent's packaging gets shredded. Once belonging is fused to a frame, updating facts feels like betrayal. The cost of accuracy starts to look like the cost of exile, and the loop tightens around loyalty tests instead of curiosity. Put them together, and you get belief funnels. Nobody yanks you to extremes. You get warped there. A neutral curiosity nudges to a punchier spin, then to a scandal compilation, then to an exposed channel whose back catalogue leans harder. Each step looks reasonable. The path as a whole is engineered, because collaborative filtering pairs you with pattern neighbors, people who pause like you under similar heat. Your clicks train them. Theirs train you. Within days, the factory floor hums a chorus that feels like everyone, when it's really your cluster singing back. The catch is that nuance underperforms these engines. It's metabolically expensive. It asks you to sit with ambiguity, read methods, tolerate boredom. Outrage pays faster. Smoothness spreads farther. Identity locks tighter. So careful sources get buried under stickier patterns. It's not malice by design. It's incentive. Meanwhile, the loop learns your bedtime. Tired you teaches a different model than rested you. If most of your training happens in late-night scrolls, the system overfits to that version. High arousal, low patience, and underserves content that needs breath. That's why your feed looks saner at 9 a.m. than it does at 1 a.m. Different views are being optimized. So how does Unreality get manufactured? Not by a single lie, but by a cadence that turns nudges into norms. Precision shows up at the window when your guard is down. Repetition makes the frame feel native. Emotion locks memory. Identity protects the badge. After a week of that music, ordinary life can feel offbeat. Real rooms seem less convincing than rehearsed clips. Your sense of presence starts taking cues from fluency and arousal instead of touch and time. You're not helpless inside this machine, but you are trainable. The counter isn't a full-time fact-checker living in your head. It's small frictions at the right moments. Source first, not share first. Emotion check before fact check. A 10-minute delay on pulse spikes. A quick 1-degree counter search on claims that glide in too easily. And a deliberate diet shift. 3 depth sources you trust and 1 rigorous dissent that you respect. Because here's the decision point. If you continue letting the loop learn the most hookable version of you, it will gladly play teacher. If you start feeding it different success markers, long form, primary documents, cooler cadence, it will adjust. The factory always tunes to what keeps you. You can choose what keep means. Vulnerabilities 101, the 3 locks, ease, arousal, identity. To break the factory spell, you need to see the locks it uses. 3 of them account for most of the drift: cognitive ease, arousal hijack, and identity lock. They aren't defects. They're shortcuts the brain uses to save energy and stay connected. The system just learned how to press them in sequence. Start with cognitive ease. When something glides, clean font, familiar phrasing, mirrored headlines, your brain relaxes the guard and grants a courtesy pass. That relaxed feeling gets misread as reliable. Repetition is the amplifier. Echoes across multiple accounts don't add proof. They add fluency. The claim becomes easy to process, so it feels more true than a careful post that forces you to slow down. That's why a polished thread can beat a primary document you have to click. The fluency, this makes sense sensation, is cheap to manufacture, and it sneaks under skepticism when you're tired. You can spot ease in the wild. Cadence feels practiced. Phrases repeat with tiny edits. Experts say, leaked proves we all know. Charts arrive with perfect color palettes but no methods. Clips circulate with the same crop and caption. Your mind thinks, I've seen this everywhere. You've seen it often, not everywhere. The counter is small friction. Source first, not share first. 2 clicks to an original document or full video cut fluency's spell in half. Change reading mode or device when a post glides too fast. Mobile to desktop, dark mode to reader view. That minor cost lifts the guard just enough to see what's missing. 1-degree search helps too. Add criticism, methods, or retraction to the claim. If nothing credible appears, downgrade confidence, and save to verify. Next is arousal hijack. Body moves before analysis. Anger, or threat. And tribal pride narrow attention, speed action, and glue memory. Platforms don't need your heart rate to learn this. Rapid replays, comment bursts, rewind on one sentence. Those are physiological tells by proxy. The loop calibrates the dose. Too little heat, and you scroll. Too much, and you feel handled. The sweet spot is productive anger, a surge that feels righteous and shareable. You'll hear the arousal grammar: betrayal, rigged, traitor, purged, sacred, heroic. Short clauses, rising beats, red circles around screenshots, countdown clocks. Before they delete this, you feel pulled to react before you can restate the claim in your own words. That's your signal, you're inside a body-first state. The counter is a state check before a fact check. Name the spike out loud: anger, fear, pride. That label shifts you from actor to observer for a beat. Set a timer, 10 minutes. Truth won't expire. During the pause, restate the claim neutrally, without the packaging. If you can't, you're reacting to tone, not content. Pair the hot thread with one long-form source on the same topic to cool the body and widen attention. The third lock is identity. Belonging beats accuracy when they clash. In-group signals, slogans, colors, emojis, anthem snippets. Lower your guard, so the same sentence in different packaging gets opposite treatment. Once a claim becomes a badge, updating it feels like a threat to membership. Reason turns into a bodyguard for the team. Identity shows up in purity tests and packaging swaps. If acceptance depends on sharing and defending the line, curiosity shrinks. If your favorite voices repeat a frame without methods and punish hesitation with loyalty language, the lock is set. You loosen it by anchoring to values, not labels. Because I care about fairness, I want the cleanest evidence. That framing keeps tribe while inviting updates. Seeking group validators who model correction. When they show receipts and revise fast, the social penalty for changing your mind drops. Ask coalition questions. What evidence would make us change our view? If the answer is nothing, name that as identity defense, not truth-seeking. Put the three together, and you get a test you can run in under a minute. Ease, does this glide? Add friction. Arousal, what am I feeling? Name it, delay it. Identity, whose badge is this wearing? Anchor to values and ask for receipts. You won't catch every move, but you'll break the cadence that turns nudges into norms. One more thing, locks don't just guard the door, they keep errors inside. Repetition cements, arousal seals, identity protects. Your job isn't to become a monk. It's to install tiny hinges you can swing open when the room gets too tight. Once you can do that, you'll feel the floor under you again. And that's the difference between being carried by the feed and walking through it. Depersonalization versus derealization. Spot the difference fast. Quick cut to the core. When unreality hits, ask one question. Am I doubting me or the world? If it's me, you're looking at depersonalization. It shows up as detachment from your own experience. You hear your voice, and it sounds borrowed. Your hands type fine, but ownership lags a half step. Thoughts arrive, but they feel narrated rather than lived. People call it autopilot, observing from the back row, floating above your body, or moving through tasks without the usual sense of, I'm the one doing this. The inner channel is intact for logic, but the feeling of agency, my voice, my choices, goes slippery. Memory gets weird in a specific way. Events register, yet the recollection doesn't feel anchored as yours. Like a file saved in the right folder with the author tag missing. If it's the world, think derealization. The environment looks normal, but reads staged. Edges are crisp while depth is flat. Light lands correctly, yet rooms feel set-like, as if the designer got the proportions right and forgot the warmth. You can name objects, desk, cup, clock, but connection doesn't click. People describe glass wall, movie set, dream fog, cardboard cutouts. Here, memory skews differently. You remember the place, but the scene replays with a haze filter, as though the world was only ever half downloaded. They often travel together. You might feel your voice isn't yours while the street looks too clean. Still, splitting them helps you act fast. Ask, am I questioning me or the world? That cut tells you which anchor to use first. Match the anchors to the target. For depersonalization, go body forward. You're re-establishing ownership. Press both feet into the floor and shift weight left to right. Run cold water on your wrists. Count 10 slow exhales, longer out than in. Move deliberately, clench and release fists, roll shoulders, stand and sit. Speak a simple sentence out loud and time it with your breath. You're feeding interoceptive channels the clamp muted. The signal is I'm here, in this body, doing this now. For derealization, go environment forward. You're restoring depth and context. Name 5 things you see, for you hear, 3 you can touch, 2 you can smell, 1 you can taste. Read a street sign and the next one. State the date, time window, and where sunlight is in the sky. Trace the edges of objects with your eyes. Touch a wall, a tabletop, your jacket, and note temperature and texture. The signal is this place has detail and continuity. I'm oriented inside it. There are quick tells when you're unsure. Depersonalization leans toward agency glitches. I'm watching myself, my words feel pre-recorded, my emotions feel muted from the inside. Derealization leans towards spatial and authenticity shifts. The room looks flat, faces look unfamiliar while familiar. Outside air feels like stage air. Panic content splits too. With depersonalization, fear points inward. Am I disappearing, going insane, losing identity? With derealization, fear points outward. Is reality broken? Will the world ever feel real again? Neither fear is a verdict. Both are side effects of the same protective clamp you heard about earlier, just aimed at different maps. Self versus environment. When you label which map is blurry, you stop negotiating with a vague unease and start working a specific lever. One more microcheck you can run in 10 seconds. Close your eyes. If the oddness jumps, the self feels further away. Depersonalization likely dominates. Open your eyes and do body anchors. If the oddness eases with eyes closed but spikes when you look around, derealization's in front. Keep eyes open and run orientation. If both hold, weave the stacks. 2 body anchors, 2 environment anchors, then a paced breath set. Here's the payoff to keep in your pocket. You're not repairing reality. You're restoring contact with it. Facts remain intact across both states. The task is to bring sensation and meaning back into the same frame. Name the mode, match the anchor, give it 90 seconds. Then get on with your day, because momentum itself is grounding. The hidden triggers you overlook. You're expecting a single villain. What actually moves the needle are small, boring things stacking until the clamp pulls. Start with sleep. Even one short night trims the brain's buffer for emotion and attention. After 2, interoception blurs, judgment speeds up, and the movie without a soundtrack effect gets easier to trigger. If late scrolling is your wind down, you just taught a tired nervous system to chase arousal while cutting recovery. That's the quiet 2-step, less sleep, more heat. The episode the next morning feels random. It wasn't. Sensory load hides in plain sight too. Back-to-back meetings on video. A commute with honking, fluorescent light, and constant alerts. A crowded gym with TV walls and pounding playlists. Nothing seems dramatic, but your system is absorbing micro-jolts without time to metabolize them. When the street finally goes quiet, the contrast makes the room feel hollow. The brain mistakes unfamiliar silence for absence of reality rather than presence of rest. Stress stacking is sneaky. It's not the fight. It's the fight plus the deadline, plus the invoice you forgot, plus the news clip you shouldn't have watched at 11:48 p.m. People look for a single cause of unreality because that feels solvable. The pattern is dose over time. Your threshold isn't fixed, it moves with the week. Mapping load explains why Tuesday night slides you over and Friday doesn't. Then there's monotony with vigilance, the highway trance of modern life. Long edits, spreadsheet marathons, grinding a level, monitoring dashboards. You're alert, but novelty is low. The brain conserves energy by downshifting the feeling channel. That's adaptive in the moment, and awkward when you stand up and expect full presence on demand. If you pair these sessions with music that erases room tone and a chair that anesthetizes your legs, orientation takes longer to snap back. Substances matter, not as morality tales, but as threshold movers. Cannabis, in particular, changes time perception and increases internal focus. For some, that's calming. For those already flirting with detachment, it tips the scale. Combine it with sleep debt and a high arousal feed, and the next morning's voice feels foreign moment makes sense. Alcohol muddies sleep architecture, so even 8 hours on paper can be 5 in practice. Caffeine stacks early calm with late-night jitter, training your day to peak where you least need it. Timing traps the loop learns fast. Late-night sessions show the model your most hookable window. It will bring the heat back to that hour. You think you're self-soothing. You're letting the factory tune itself on your tiredness. The result is a personalized cadence that underdelivers nuance when you're most depleted. That's why a noon scroll feels like reading, and a 1 a.m. scroll feels like reality rehearsal. Sensitivity thresholds differ by person and by season. After grief, illness, big launches, or travel, your buffer is thinner. The trigger didn't change, you did. Treating this like a character flaw misses the mechanics. Capacity varies. Calibration prevents shame from becoming a secondary load. So how do you stop treating these like mysteries? Log patterns, briefly and boringly. A 2-column ledger on your phone works. Inputs and state. Inputs: sleep hours, late scroll yes/no, substances, VR/gaming time, meeting density, conflict moments. State: presence 1 to 5, body signals tight/steady, DP or DR dominant if present, duration. 3 weeks of this shrinks fear because it restores predictability. You'll see your stack by day of week, by hour, and by combo. You'll also see what interrupts it. Common tells reveal themselves. A 30-minute late scroll plus 6 hours sleep predicts morning flatness. 2 nights of solid sleep reduce both frequency and intensity by half. Walking outside before screens adds grip to the day. Eating something with protein after a highway drive task shortens the lag back into presence. Calling these hacks is cute. Calling them safety evidence is accurate. One last overlooked trigger: talking about symptoms all day. Constant self-checking keeps attention glued to the instrument panel. That's more arousal and less living, which keeps the clamp interested. Name the state, run an anchor, and move into action. Episodes shrink faster when you stop interviewing them. You're not fragile. You're trainable. Change the stack, and the clamp releases. The next section explains why the brain picks disconnect instead of panic, and how you can show it a better option. Why the brain chooses disconnect over fight/flight. When load rises, your nervous system has 2 broad plays. Turn the volume up or turn it down. Fight/flight is the volume up move. Mobilize, narrow vision, flood muscles. Disconnect is the volume down move. Mute emotion, increase top-down control, keep functioning. Under certain conditions, the quiet option wins. Start with purpose. Panic is useful when there's something to hit, lift, or flee. But when the threat is amorphous, information overload, social conflict, stacked microstressors, full arousal can make performance worse. So the brain picks a conservation strategy. Imaging across dissociative states shows the pattern. Prefrontal systems ramp to manage and inhibit limbic reactivity, while emotional resonance drops. Translation: you keep thinking, you stop feeling. The cost is texture. The benefit is fewer runaway spirals. This isn't exotic. It echoes freeze in animals and playing dead, responses that reduce damage when escape isn't viable. It's also akin to medical anesthesia principles. Suppress sensation to permit the procedure. Dissociation borrows that logic for psychology. It sacrifices richness to keep the system upright. You still answer emails, drive, speak. You just don't feel fully inside it. Why does it linger? Because the very circuits dampening emotion also supervise release. If the prefrontal clamp interprets your distress about detachment as new threat, it stays on. That's the persistence loop. Symptom, fear, more clamp, thicker symptom. The mind's analysis, what if I never feel normal again, becomes a safety signal in reverse. The system hears danger and withholds resonance longer. Overload is another reason the dial turns down. After high-density input, rapid edits, moral heat, VR immersion, the integrative hubs that bind sensation with meaning get fatigued. Think of a mixing board after clipping. The quickest repair is to lower the gain. You still get signal, you reduce distortion. The subjective version is, I see everything, but it feels hollow. Not broken, protective. Here's where grounding earns its keep. The clamp is waiting for evidence that full presence won't overwhelm. Strong, simple inputs, cold touch, feet pressure, paced exhale, precise naming, provide disconfirming data. No predator, no emergency. Repeated, these cues tell the system it can trade control for connection. That's why small drills work better than pep talks. The midbrain listens to sensation first. Why not always choose fight/flight and burn through the problem? Because modern load rarely resolves through sprinting. You can't outrun a feed, punch a deadline, or argue a notification into silence. In those contexts, arousal without action becomes suffering. Dissociation, crude as it is, lowers the cost of staying on task. The mistake is treating it as a lifestyle. It's an emergency setting, not a home screen. Meaning matters here. If you label detachment as insanity, you add heat and tighten the clamp. If you label it as overprotection, you lower heat and open a door. Protector overapplied is more than a nice phrase. It changes physiology. People breathe longer, scan slower, and tolerate the 90 seconds it takes for anchors to kick in. One more piece, dose. The brain weighs threat against capacity. When sleep is short, fuel is low, and stress is stacked, the cost of full feeling rises. Disconnect looks efficient. When baseline recovers, sunlight, movement, real food, normal cadence, the cost drops and presence feels safer. You can nudge this calculus by improving baseline first, then asking for more connection. So the short answer is simple. The brain chooses disconnect when arousal would harm performance or stability. It reduces emotion to protect operations, then releases when safety signals show up. Your job isn't to wrestle the clamp. It's to feed it evidence, lower the fear loop, and rebuild capacity, so presence becomes the easy choice again. The Humanity Extraction Kit. For a framework. Now we turn the clamp into a checklist. For moves, run in order, fast enough to beat the spiral. Recognize, relabel, re-anchor, reset. Think of it as a 90-second rescue you can deploy in the moment, plus a daily baseline that makes the moments rarer. Recognize means you call the state by name and tag the lock that's active. Out loud short. DP mode, ownership thin. Or DR mode, room looks staged. Then add the lock, ease glide, arousal spike, or identity badge. This isn't poetry. It's metadata for your nervous system. Naming collapses vagueness and shrinks fear's wiggle room. Relabel swaps catastrophe for function. Script it once, reuse forever. This is a protective reflex, not psychosis. My prefrontal is clamping. Feeling isn't broken, it's muted. Safety evidence invites release. Pair that with a media habit. Source first. If you're mid-scroll, say, trace to original before I transmit. Add a delay rule. Pulse high, wait 10. Those lines keep the factory from training on your panic. Re-anchor is the multisensory stack. 4 signals that talk to the exact systems the clamp hushed. Cold touch. Run wrists under cool water or press a chilled object to your cheek for 10 seconds. Feet press. Plant both feet, shift weight left to right, then rock heel toe. Paced breath. In 4, soft hold 1, out 7, 5 rounds. Longer exhale lowers arousal. Naming. Scan the room and speak. 3 specific details. A scuffed mug rim, a hairline crack in paint, the hum behind the fridge. If DR dominates, keep eyes open and trace edges. If DP dominates, close eyes for 2 breaths while you feel foot pressure. Then reopen and stand. Reset is the baseline you protect daily, so presence stops being uphill. Sleep window. Consistent lights out and wake within an hour, 7 nights. Sunlight. 10 minutes outside within an hour of waking. Cutoffs. No late-night training sessions. Devices parked outside the bedroom. Notifications off after a set time. Movement. 1 short bout you can always keep. 10 minutes brisk walk, bodyweight squats, or a stretch set. None of this is aspirational. It's structural. You're feeding the clamp safety proof before it gets ideas. Tie these into a micro-routine you can punch in under pressure. The 90-second flow for spikes. Recognize. DP or DR plus lock. Relabel. Protective, not permanent. Re-anchor. Cold touch 10 seconds. Feet press 10 shifts. 5 breaths 417. Name 3 details. Then a single action. Text 1 sentence. Wash a dish. Step outside. Because motion is evidence. When the wave recedes, run a 5-minute flow. A second breath set. A short walk to a specific landmark and back. 1 paragraph of a paper book. And a quick log. State, duration, what helped. That ledger turns mystery into pattern and teaches your nervous system what ended the episode. Drop in 2 friction moves for the hijack. Source first habit. Any claim that glides must reveal the original in 2 clicks, or it doesn't enter your head. 1 degree counter search. Add methods, retraction, or critique to the headline in a new tab. If your pulse is up, delay 10 minutes. The world is still there after truth arrives. You also need a boundary for identity lock. Values first sentence you can say to your own tribe. Because I care about fairness, I want the cleanest evidence. That line keeps belonging while buying you time to check. Make the kit visible. A sticky note on your nightstand. DP/DR. Protective. Cold feet breath name. Move log. A phone note pinned on the home screen. Source original date incentive emotion counteraction sizing. You're not trying to remember under load. You're trying to reach. For credibility, know the names. Cortico-Limbic disconnection explains the clamp. Processing fluency explains why easy feels true. To keep the kid honest, run drills when you feel fine. Once a day, practice the 90-second flow on a neutral morning. Once a week, do the 5-minute flow after work. Pre-rehearsal makes your body faster than your fear. Last part, cut the late-night rehearsal studio. If your brain insists on a wind down, replace doom scroll with a boring loop that still soothes. Shower, stretch, 1 page on paper, lights out. If you must check something hot, stand up and read aloud in monotone. If the claim deflates without soundtrack, you just dodged the loop. Run the 4 sequence as written for a month. You'll notice fewer episodes, shorter durations, and a quieter, what-if channel. You didn't beat dissociation by force. You taught the clamp a better job. Rapid response drills, acute episode playbook. When the clamp hits, you don't want a theory. You want a sequence that runs without thinking. Here's the 90-second playbook. You can drop into the moment the world goes thin, or your voice feels borrowed. Start with a 30-second triage. Feet, temperature, breath, naming, fast and literal. Plant both feet and press down hard for 5 counts. Then shift weight left to right 10 times, so your ankles talk to your brain. Grab cold. Wrist under cool water, or a chilled glass to the cheek for 10 slow seconds. Now do a pace set. Inhale through your nose for 4, soft hold for 1, exhale through your mouth for 7. 3 rounds. Finish by naming 3 details out loud in the room. The hairline crack in the paint, the scuff on the mug rim, the hum behind the fridge. This is signal, not poetry. Before you argue with a thought, label the feeling. Emotion check before fact check. Say it in a sentence. Anger or fear, pride. Naming shifts you from actor to observer. Then set a 90-second timer. During that window, your only job is to keep running anchors, not to solve the universe. When a claim or clip is driving the spike, reclaim the sentence. State the core idea in your own neutral words without the heat, like you're reading a docket. This post says X happened at Y time with Z proof. If you can't restate it without the soundtrack, you're reacting to tone, not content. That's your cue to delay the decision and stay in your body. Pair hot with calm on purpose. If an outrage thread has your pulse up, open 1 long form. Steady source on the same topic and read 2 paragraphs aloud. The mismatch lowers arousal. You're teaching your nervous system that information can arrive without emergency music. Make save to verify your default in the episode. No quote replies. No stitches. No comment wars. Save the item, tag it check, and starve the engagement loop. You're not repressing. You're refusing to feed a machine that reads your reactivity as demand. Here's how this plays in the 2 modes. In depersonalization, self feels far, go body heavy. 2 rounds of feet press, eyes closed for 1 breath to feel weight, then open and move something simple with intent. Stand, sit, open a drawer, say, I'm here, moving this now. Stack 5 exhales that are longer than inhales. The message is ownership. In Derealization, room looks staged, go environment forward. Keep eyes open. Name 5 things you see, for you hear, 3 you can touch. Trace object edges with your gaze. Read 2 street signs if you're outside. Touch surfaces and note temperature. The message is continuity and depth. Add 1 microaction to close the loop. Wash a dish. Text 1 sentence. Step to the window and look at a landmark you can name. Motion tells the clamp the system is functioning. It reduces the urge to self-monitor. For social spikes, run the values first microscript. Say, because I care about fairness, I want the cleanest evidence. I'll check and reply tomorrow. Then mute the thread for a day. You kept belonging while you bought your brain time. If speech feels slippery, borrow cadence. Read a short, factual paragraph from a paper page out loud in a steady tone. Whether a recipe step, a manual line. Matching external rhythm helps your voice relock to timing. Build 3 pocket variations you can run anywhere. Standing version. Feet press, breath set. Edge tracing in the room, 1 sentence text. Seated version. Heel toe rock under the desk, cold to wrist from your water bottle, 3 breaths. Scan for 3 blue objects. Public version. Shift weight, count 5 red items in sight. Breathe through the nose quietly, read a sign, and send yourself a note with the time and place. When the timer ends, decide your next step by size, not by certainty. Small action that fits the evidence. Close the app. Walk to the end of the block. Write one line in your log. DP or DR, duration, what helped. Then return to the task in front of you. Momentum dissolves residue. Last rule, drills before philosophy. The episode is not the moment for meaning. Run the sequence. When your feet are back under you, then you can make sense of it. The 7-point feed firewall. Here's your quiet counterweight to the factory. A 7-step pass you can run fast. Source, original date, incentive, emotion, counter, action sizing. 2 modes. A 30-second triage for live scrolling, and a 3-minute deep check when stakes are higher. Start with source. Who's telling me this? Names, expertise, a track record of corrections. Aggregators aren't endpoints. They're signals to keep digging. If the profile is a face with vibes and no receipts, you're not done. Original. Where did it start? 2 clicks to a primary document, full video, dataset, or transcript. Screenshots without headers and stitched clips don't count. If you can't touch the origin quickly, you're likely in a loop of echoes. Date. When did this happen, and when was it published? Old footage repackaged as breaking rides your arousal for free. Confirm timestamps on the post and the artifacts inside it. If an image predates the caption's claim, reality's been remixed. Incentive. Why say this now, and who benefits? Fundraising hooks, product launches, election moments, channel growth sprints, they tilt framing. Incentives don't disprove claims, they raise your bar for evidence. Emotion. What is this trying to make me feel before I think? Name the spike, anger, fear, pride, or. If you can't restate the claim neutrally without the soundtrack, delay. Truth won't expire in 10 minutes. Counter. Who disagrees credibly? Search 1 degree. Claim plus methods, critique, or retraction. You're not both sidesing reality. You're testing whether serious people have raised serious issues. Weigh receipts, not dunk lines. Action sizing. What am I being asked to do? And is that proportional to the proof? Share now, donate now, pile on now. High cost asks demand high quality evidence. Scale your response to the strength of the original. Run the 30-second pass like a breath. Who says it? Where did it start? How old is it? What's their angle? How do I feel? Who disagrees? What's the ask? If any of the first 3 are mushy, you don't transmit. If the incentive is loud and your emotion hot, you delay. If strong counter-evidence exists and the ask is big, you deep check. Now the 3-minute version when the claim matters. Minute 1, source and original. Open 2 tabs, the messenger's profile and the supposed primary. Scan for domain expertise, corrections, and prior behavior. In the primary, look for full context, methods, full quotes, uncut video. No original, no share. Minute 2, date and incentive. Confirm timestamps and watch for stale footage in fresh clothes. Note affiliations, funding, and timing. If it aligns too neatly with a push, your bar goes up. Minute 3, emotion, counter, action. Label your state out loud, then search one precise counter. Skim the strongest rebuttal with sources. Right-size your move. No share, cautious share with receipts, or share plus caveats. If you can't explain the claim in your own words with a link to a primary, you don't pass it on. 2 structural habits make this firewall stick. Diversify seed signals. Follow 3 depth sources that publish methods and 1 rigorous dissent voice you respect. Your follows are inputs. They reshape candidates your feed serves. And reset the graph. Clear watch history periodically, or maintain topic-specific profiles, so one hot binge doesn't colonize everything. Expect short-term discomfort. Nuance has lower processing fluency, but long-term accuracy rises. Add engagement hygiene. Mute outrage amplifiers, even if you agree with them. Prioritize primaries, hearings, datasets, full interviews, court filings. Timebox sessions. Enter with a purpose. Exit when the timer hits. Save to verify instead of reacting in public. Starving the loop of high-energy signals protects your judgment and your audience. Topic compartments help. Keep separate lists for health, policy, science, tech, each with go-to primaries and skeptical analysts. When a claim lands, you're 3 clicks from ground, not 15 clicks into vibes. A quick walkthrough. Headline. New emails prove a cover-up. Source, mid-size commentator. Original, cropped screenshot, no header. Date, posted today, file name suggests last year. Incentive, creator selling and expose course. Emotion, anger spike. Counter, a reporter thread links full emails showing context. Action, ask to share before they delete. Verdict: fails original, shaky date, loud incentive, high emotion, strong counter. You don't share. Different case. Preprint shows small benefit of policy Y. Source: University Press Office naming authors. Original: full preprint with methods. Date: last week. Incentive: academic credit, no hype. Emotion: mild curiosity. Counter: a statistician flags effect size limitations, but methods are decent. Action: discuss, not rally. Verdict: cautious share with primary link and caveats. Make it visible. Pin the checklist on your home screen. SODICA: rehearse once a week on a low-stakes post. The point isn't perfection. It's to right-size trust to evidence so your feed stops renting your nervous system. Environmental recalibration. Design for presence. You've got drills. Now make your environment do some of the work, so presence isn't uphill. Start with device architecture. Turn off autoplay everywhere, video, podcasts, recommendations. Move the stickiest apps off your home screen. Bury them in a folder 3 swipes deep. Put your reader, notes, and camera on page 1. Set do not disturb windows that begin before your willpower ends. 2 hours before bed, 1 hour after waking. Batch notifications into scheduled summaries. Nothing pings live except calls from a short list. Give your browser a default that pulls you toward depth. Set your homepage to 3 primary sources you trust and 1 rigorous dissent. Pin a first source's bookmark bar, court dockets, journal search, hearings, data portals. Add a reader extension that strips flair, so form counts smuggle fluency past your guard. If you use YouTube, subscribe to long-form channels and hide the up next rail with an extension. If the platform insists on a feed, enter through direct links, not the home tab. Design a wind down that doesn't rehearse the loop. Park devices outside the bedroom. Use a cheap alarm clock so you don't need the phone. On the nightstand, a paper book, a pen, a sticky note with your 90-second anchor sequence. Build a boring cadence. Stretch, shower, 1 page, lights out. If you must check something hot, stand up, read aloud in monotone, then put the device back in its dock. Your body learns the difference between bedtime and training time. Reintroduce nature as a weekly baseline reset. 2 hours outside device-free. Split however you can. 4 30-minute walks. 1 long wander on Sunday, or lunch breaks on a bench. The point isn't vistas. It's layered stimulus at human speed. Wind on skin, shifting light, distant sound. Name 5 details each time. Lichen pattern, bird call, the way a shadow moves across a wall. That practice retrains the brain to weight subtlety again. Place friction and invitations in your path. Keep a book by the kettle and a dumbbell near the desk. Put a bowl for keys and phone by the door. When you enter, the phone lands there. Keep a water glass within reach and a cold pack in the freezer for quick anchors. Stick a small card to your monitor. Source original date incentive emotion counteraction. Another on your desk. Cold feet breath name move. Social norms matter. Start a group rule with friends or co-workers. No outrage shares without a primary link. In chats, reward receipts, not snark. If you run a team, set meeting hygiene, cameras optional, agendas in advance, 5 minutes of silence at the start to read, 10 minutes at the end to write next actions. Quiet systems lower ambient arousal, so people don't need dissociation, just to survive work. Reset the graph on purpose. Create topic-specific profiles or separate browser users. News, research, leisure, so one binge doesn't colonize the rest. Periodically clear watch history and cached recommendations. Follow accounts that post full hearings, reports, or interviews. Mute the productive anger voices for 30 days and see what surfaces. Guard sleep like infrastructure. Pick a window and defend it. Lights out and wake within an hour daily. Keep the bedroom dim, cool, and boring. If your mind spins, keep a note card and write tomorrow lists instead of opening apps. If you wake at 3 a.m., run the 90-second stack in bed. Press feet, 3 slow exhales, name 3 night sounds, and don't check the time. Make presence the default path of least resistance. The phone dock lives near the door. The book lives by heat sources. Notifications wait in batches. Nature is scheduled like a meeting. Your anchors are visible where you dissociate. This isn't willpower theater. It's load-bearing design. One last layer, identity cues. Put your values where you scroll. Because I care about fairness, I want the cleanest evidence, as your lock screen. That single line buys you seconds when pattern hits. In a world tuned to hook your tired version, structure is kindness. Build it once. Let it work every day. Treatment paths that actually help. You've got drills and structure. Now, if you need more than self-guided, here's the lane where evidence actually lives. Think tailored psychotherapy first, lifestyle as scaffolding, and experimental edges as cautiously optional. Start with therapy that targets the loop, not just the feeling. Cognitive behavioral approaches adapted for depersonalization and derealization focus on the fear symptom feedback. Panic fuels the clamp. The work looks practical. Map triggers, catch catastrophic interpretations fast, and test predictions in real life. If the thought is, I'll lose control if I feel more, the exercise is a graded exposure to presence with anchors nearby. A short walk focusing on foot pressure, a conversation while noticing breath timing. The win is disconfirming the story your clamp has been using to justify itself. Clinicians also teach attention. Retraining. Instead of scanning inward for unrealness, you practice shifting outward to task and context, then back to body on your terms. That flip reduces compulsive self-checking, which lowers arousal and shortens episodes. When panic has been piggybacking on dissociation, scripts help. This is protective, not permanent. I can ground and continue. Rehearsed in session, repeated between sessions, the line stops fear from rearming the clamp. Trauma-informed care matters when history sits under the surface. If early overwhelm set your threshold low, therapists often weave grounding into the session itself and pace memory work, so contact with feeling doesn't trigger shutdown. Approaches like EMDR or carefully applied somatic work can help people process safely, but here precision beats hype. The focus isn't catharsis. It's titration, small doses of feeling, paired with regulation, until your system learns presence won't drown it. Mentalization-based therapy can be useful too, especially when attachment dynamics and epistemic mistrust crop up. Relearning that minds can be read accurately, your own included, loosens the "I can't trust my lens" knot. Medication isn't a primary fix for DPDR itself, but it can steady comorbid conditions that amplify it. If anxiety, depression, or sleep disruption keeps pushing you past threshold, a short-term pharmacologic assist can raise the floor so therapy sticks. The goal is not numbness, it's bandwidth. Any prescription plan should be paired with clear therapy milestones and a taper plan mapped in advance. Lifestyle work looks boring because it is, and it's also how your nervous system updates its priors. Sleep windows, daylight in the morning, regular movement, hydration, caffeine boundaries, and reducing late-night arousal inputs aren't wellness slogans here. They change the cost-benefit math your brain runs before it clamps. A steadier baseline makes presence cheaper. You'll feel it as episodes that arrive less often and leave sooner. On the experimental edge, you'll hear about RTMS, TDCS, and neurofeedback targeting networks implicated in dissociation. Early pilots show hints. Some people report reductions when stimulation modulates prefrontal limbic balance. But samples are small, protocols vary, and effects can be inconsistent outside labs. If you explore this path, frame it as an adjunct, not a cure. Ask for protocols tied to your symptoms, objective pre-post measures, and clear endpoints. VR can be therapeutic in thoughtful, time-limited ways. Exposure, attention training, presence drills. But remember the immersion mismatch you heard earlier. Studies show presence in the real world can dip briefly after immersive sessions, especially in susceptible people. If you're sensitive to derealization, any digital exposure therapy must be followed by deliberate re-entry routines. Anchors, outdoor time, and scheduled offline tasks that rebuild depth. Your clinician should plan those transitions with you. Finding the right clinician is half the lift. Look for someone who can explain dissociation without catastrophizing, who integrates grounding into sessions, and who invites you to practice between visits. Ask intake questions. How do you distinguish panic from DP/DR in treatment? How do you prevent over-reliance on coping strategies? What's your plan for tapering session frequency as I improve? You're testing for method and exit, not charisma. 2 markers tell you the path is working. First, your episodes get shorter and less frightening even when frequency blips. Fear isn't fueling them. Second, your life grows around the symptoms. More tasks finished, more conversations held, more days where the clamp doesn't call the shots. Recovery in this space rarely looks like a single sunrise. It looks like traction, boring, repeatable traction, until presence feels native again. When to seek professional help. Here's the simplest divider: when detachment stops being an odd day and starts steering your life. If episodes run for weeks, keep you from work or school, flatten relationships, or make basic decisions feel unsafe, it's time to bring in a pro. Duration plus disruption is the first threshold. Control is the second. Ordinary zoning out snaps back with a noise or a shift in attention. DP/DR doesn't respond to willpower. It feels imposed. If you can't ground without help, or you're constantly checking, am I real? Is this real? You've crossed into a pattern that benefits from clinical structure. Distress is third. Panic loops attached to unreality amplify everything. If the fear of the state is becoming its own engine, avoiding social plans, losing sleep, Googling symptoms at 2 a.m., outside support turns spirals into steps. Fear is fuel, therapy drains it. Impact shows up in quiet metrics. Missed deadlines, half-finished tasks, hollow conversations you don't remember later, partners saying you feel far away. If unreality is eroding function or intimacy, don't wait for a perfect day to fix it. Waiting is the loop's favorite ally. Use a quick checklist. Are your episodes near daily for more than 2 weeks? Are they cutting into work, school, or relationships? Do you need anchors to function most days? Are you avoiding places or people to prevent triggering the state? If any answer is yes, schedule an evaluation. You're not declaring defeat, you're choosing efficiency. First appointments are usually simpler than people fear. Expect 3 things: a careful history of your symptoms and timeline, screening for panic, trauma, sleep issues, or substances, and an explanation of how DP/DR works, so you have language for what you feel. A good clinician will normalize the mechanism, protective, not psychotic, and outline concrete next steps. You should leave with 2 or 3 drills to practice, not just validation. Lower the fear of the process by knowing what it's not. You're unlikely to be handed heavy meds or told to excavate trauma on day 1. You won't be asked to relive your worst memories without tools. The early focus is stabilizing your nervous system, shrinking the feedback loop, and restoring daily function. If you're unsure where to start, ask targeted questions by email or phone before booking. Do you treat depersonalization/derealization specifically? How do you distinguish DP/DR from panic in practice? How do you integrate grounding into sessions? What does tapering frequency look like when I improve? You're testing for method, not magic. If resources are tight, look for sliding scale clinics, university training centers, or telehealth options. Some practices offer brief protocols specifically for DP/DR and panic loops. In parallel, run the 4 kit daily. Therapy is a multiplier when your baseline supports it. Bring 1 page to your first visit. Timeline of episodes, triggers you suspect, what helps, what worsens, sleep patterns, substances, and your top 3 goals. Keep it behavioral. Fewer episodes, shorter episodes, less fear during episodes. That page replaces a half-hour of flailing and gives the clinician a map. There are red flags that mean escalate faster. Sudden onset after head injury, seizure-like events, new neurological symptoms, go medical. Suicidal thoughts, intent, or planning, reach crisis services immediately. DP/DR can travel with depression. Safety outranks theory. One last point. Diagnostic delay for DP/DR can stretch years because people and providers mislabel it as pure anxiety or psychosis. Naming it early avoids wrong turns. You're not asking for permission to be okay. You're recruiting help to train your nervous system back to presence. The sooner you start, the sooner the clamp stops calling the shots. Reframing without fear, own the meaning. Let's change what the sensation means. Not the feeling, its meaning. When the clamp hits, the instinct is catastrophe. I'm breaking. That story pours fuel on the very circuit holding you at arm's length. Replace it with a truer one. This is my protector overdoing its job. Same moment, different charge. Fear drops a notch. Space opens for skill. Start by normalizing the terrain. Episodes live on a spectrum. Brief detachment is common. A smaller share slide into persistent patterns. You're not rare, and you're not broken. You're inside a known response that your system learned for a reason. Even saying, "This is familiar," robs panic of its specialness. Specialness energizes it. Familiarity drains it. Give the clamp a friendlier name. The seatbelt stuck tight. Helpful in a crash, annoying when you're parked. That frame shifts your role from victim to driver. You're not fighting a monster. You're clicking a latch and easing the strap. Small difference, big behavior change. Driver's act. Victim's brace. Write a pocket script you can reach in 10 seconds. Protective, not permanent. My prefrontal is clamping. I can show safety with cold, feet, breath naming. It will pass while I move. Read it once a day for a week. Rehearsed words arrive faster than fear when you need them. Shrink the monster with microagency. Keep a tally, you can win on bad days. Did I run one anchor? Did I choose one action? Did I avoid one comment wall? 3 checkmarks beat a clean streak fantasy that resets every time you wobble. Momentum nurtures presence. Perfection belongs to panic. Humor helps. Not mockery, lightness. The seatbelt again. Overachiever. You'll feel the episode resist that gentleness at first. That's the point. Humor turns fear's certainty into something you can nudge. Try this. Narrate one absurd detail aloud. My brain muted the soundtrack and left the subtitles. Smiles reintroduce breath. Breath widens attention. The clamp loosens. Stop honoring the episode like a courtroom. Catastrophic self-interviews. Keep it in the center of the room. You're building scaffolding around it. Anchors, a small task, then back to living. Save meaning-making for later. When the wave ends, write 2 lines. What triggered, what worked. No essays. You're teaching future you. You're trainable. The state is pliable. Make fear specific. Instead of, I'll be stuck like this forever, ask, what if this lasts 2 hours? Then set a timer for 10 minutes and run the 4 flow. 90% of the time, the prediction fails. The rest, you still moved. Each incorrect catastrophe earns a hash mark on a private scoreboard. Evidence accumulates where dread used to squat. Tie identity to methods, not to how you feel. I'm the kind of person who runs my sequence and finishes the next small thing. That sentence holds on good days and bad. Mood becomes weather. Method becomes climate. Climate wins. If you flinch at the word acceptance, swap in permission. You're not agreeing to live numb. You're permitting the present moment to be as it is while you run the plan. Fighting sensations prolongs them. Letting them be while you move shrinks them. This isn't surrender to the clamp. It's refusal to fuel it. Practice tiny exposures to presence on your terms. Sip moments of richness and step out before you flood. A song, 30 seconds of sunlight on skin, 10 breaths with your hand on your chest. Leave while it's easy. Return later. You're retraining the system that feeling isn't a trapdoor. Share your frame with one person who won't perform anxiety at you. If I go glassy, prompt me with feet, cold breath, name 3. Don't ask how I feel yet. You're borrowing calm while you build your own. Most important, count wins by repetition, not intensity. Each low-fear episode shortens the next, even when you barely notice. That compounding curve is invisible up close and undeniable over weeks. The meaning you choose, protector over applied, driver not victim, method over mood, turns a strange state into a manageable one. Presence stops being a miracle. It becomes a muscle you train. The 30-day presence reset, step by step. You've got tools. Now you need cadence. 30 days for simple weeks. You're not chasing perfect days. You're building a floor strong enough that presence stops being uphill. Week 1 is foundations. Language drills sleep. Detox catastrophic phrasing. For 7 days, replace I'm broken with protector over applied. When unreality hits, speak your pocket script once. Protective, not permanent. Cold feet breath name. Then run the 90-second flow daily, even when you feel fine. You're teaching your body to find the path in calm. Guard a consistent sleep window within an hour every night. Devices park outside the bedroom. The phone learns it sleeps elsewhere. Morning sunlight within an hour of waking. 10 minutes outdoors, eyes on the horizon. Log briefly. Hours slept, morning presence 1 to 5. Did you run the flow? 1 page by the kettle for a paper paragraph. End the week with a simple audit. Did I miss fewer anchors? Did mornings feel less glassy? If yes, carry forward. If no, keep it boring and continue. Week 2 is inputs and friction. Install the 7-point feed firewall as your default. Run the 30-second pass when something spikes your pulse. Save to verify, don't perform. Diversify seed signals. Follow 3 depth sources with methods and 1 rigorous descent. Clear watch history and start fresh. Add 2 nature blocks, device-free, 30 minutes each. Walk, sit, notice 5 details. Flip your home screen. Move sticky apps to a folder 3 swipes deep. Pin your anchors, pin SODACA. Timebox sessions. Set a timer before opening any feed. End each day with a 1-line ledger. Inputs, late scroll, caffeine late, conflict, and state, Presence 1 to 5, DP/DR if present. You're not scolding yourself. You're shrinking the mystery. Week 3 is autonomy reps. Choose 3 everyday categories you've been outsourcing: calendar, small money, under a limit you set, and a micro-creative choice. Make one decision in each daily without consulting anyone. Record 2 things, the decision and the result. Keep stakes low and momentum steady. Add a weekly opposite read. 20 minutes with the strongest fair case against one of your priors. Not to switch sides, to keep identity from renting your judgment. Practice the values-first sentence in real conversations. Because I care about fairness, I want the cleanest evidence. In your log, track wins as repetitions. Ran anchor, chose action, delayed share. You're teaching your nervous system that you act, then adjust, and nothing catastrophic follows. Week 4 is the stress test. Keep cadence intact while you add a bump. A public share, travel day, or social event. Before it, write your plan on 1 card. 90-second flow steps, values-first sentence, and 1 exit cue. During, run the plan once whether you need it or not. After, log facts and body signals. Duration if any DP/DR, what shortened it, which boundary held. If the week is quiet, don't chase intensity. The test is stability under real life, not heroics. Close the week by tapering reliance. Schedule 1 silent day from the chatty apps, 1 hour device-free block at home, and 1 errand. Done without audio in your ears. You're letting ordinary detail repopulate the map. Make weekly audits short and behavioral. Ask 3 questions every Sunday. Dependence down? Criteria stable? Body steadier? If 2 of 3 are yes, keep the plan. If not, change 1 lever, not 5. Bring bedtime forward 30 minutes, add a morning walk, or cut the late scroll. You're tuning, not overhauling. 3 guardrails protect the month. First, pre-commit to delay when arousal spikes. 10 minutes before decisions. Truth doesn't expire that fast. Second, make caps normal. Time caps on feeds, scope caps on can you just, and money caps on impulse buys. Caps shrink hijack windows. Third, rehearse your exit lines out loud. Not for me. I'll decide tomorrow. Because I care about fairness, I want the cleanest evidence. The body needs to hear your voice before the moment. Common snags will try to drag you back. You'll miss a night. You'll doom scroll at 1 a.m. You'll wake thin. Don't reset the month. Reset the morning. Sunlight, a glass of water, the 90-second flow, and a small action. Boredom is a feature. It tells your nervous system there's nothing to defend. By day 30, you're not cured. You're conditioned. Episodes still visit, but they don't call the shots. Presence stops being a fragile mood and starts feeling like home base you can return to on purpose. Keep the cadence. It's lighter than living inside the clamp. The trap, identity addiction to unreality. Outrage becomes belonging. Feeds become tribe. Certainty performs better than truth. High processing fluency, high arousal. So unreality feels like home. Exit ramps, lead with values. Because I care about fairness, I check. Using group validators for updates. Replace performance with presence. Litmus. Does this love tolerate your no? Reclaiming presence isn't mystical. It's method and muscle. Cortico-Limbic disconnection explains the clamp. Processing fluency and arousal explain the hijack. Your counter is structure. Run the 4 kit today, then the 7-point firewall this week. Subscribe for the full drill set, and watch the deep dive on emotional manipulation next.